Here's a rewritten version with smoother narration, stronger emotional pacing, and a more polished storytelling style while keeping the original plot intact. The rain was relentless that evening, drumming steadily against the windows and drowning out every other sound. When the knock came, it was so faint that I almost convinced myself I had imagined it. Almost. For 2 months, silence had become my normal. Since the divorce, I had stopped expecting visitors, especially anyone connected to Emma. But when I opened the door, there she stood. Claire. My ex-wife's younger sister. She was soaked from head to toe, strands of wet hair clinging to her face. Her hands gripped a manila envelope tightly against her chest as though it contained something fragile enough to shatter. "Hey," she said softly, her voice trembling. "Can I come in?" I hesitated for only a second before stepping aside. She walked past me, leaving small puddles on the hardwood floor. Without a word, she placed the envelope on the coffee table. Her hands shook. It was obvious she'd been crying. "What's that?" I asked. She didn't sit down. Instead, she wrapped her arms around herself, staring at the envelope as if she regretted bringing it. "It's about Emma," she said quietly. The sound of her name hit me harder than I expected. For months, I had done everything possible to bury the memories. Yet hearing her name brought them rushing back instantly, her laughter, her smile, the empty spaces she'd left behind. Claire drew a shaky breath. "She told me not to come," she admitted. "But I couldn't keep this from you anymore." A knot tightened in my stomach. "What are you talking about?" Her eyes met mine. "She lied to you." The room suddenly felt smaller. When Emma filed for divorce, she'd said she had fallen out of love. She claimed she needed time to find herself. I'd believed her because I wanted to believe her. I spent weeks blaming myself, wondering what I could have done differently. Maybe I'd pushed too hard. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I had somehow failed her. But Claire's expression told me there was far more to the story. She picked up the envelope and handed it to me. "Look." Inside were photographs. Blurry cell phone pictures. Emma at a restaurant. Emma smiling across a table. Emma holding someone's hand. My chest tightened. At first, the man's face wasn't clear. Then I reached the 4th photo. Everything stopped. Daniel. My best friend since college. The air vanished from my lungs. I stared at the image, unable to move. Unable to think. Unable to breathe. Somewhere in the background, Claire continued speaking, but her voice sounded distant. "I didn't know at first," she said. "She told me a week before she filed." I swallowed hard. She said she was in love with him. Every word landed like a hammer. She said you'd never notice because you trusted her too much. Claire's voice broke. She laughed when she said it. I looked down at the photos again, searching desperately for some explanation. Maybe they were old. Maybe there was context I didn't understand. Maybe. But deep down, I already knew the truth. Suddenly, every memory looked different. The late nights. The growing distance. The endless excuses. The way she'd insisted Daniel needed support after his breakup. The puzzle pieces I'd ignored for months finally snapped together. Far too late. "She's moving in with him next week," Claire said quietly. My hands trembled as I set the photos down. "Why are you telling me this now?" Claire looked away. "Because she doesn't deserve your silence." The anger I expected never arrived. Instead, there was only emptiness. A hollow ache where my marriage used to be. I looked at Claire. Her eyes were swollen from crying. There was guilt in them. Not because she'd betrayed me. Because she'd waited so long to tell me. "Does Emma know you're here?" I asked. Claire shook her head. "No. She'd never forgive me." The rain continued tapping softly against the windows as we sat in silence. Eventually, Claire spoke again. "She's not happy, you know." I laughed bitterly. Or at least I tried to. The sound that escaped was closer to a sigh. "That doesn't matter anymore," I said. "She made her choice." Claire leaned forward. "You didn't deserve what she did." Her voice cracked. "I just thought you should hear the truth from someone who still cares." For a brief moment, neither of us spoke. There was no romance in that silence. No hidden feelings. Only two people standing on opposite sides of the same heartbreak. When she finally stood to leave, she paused at the door. "You'll get through this," she said softly. "You've always been stronger than she gave you credit for." Then she was gone. I remained alone in the dim living room, staring at the photographs spread across the table. Evidence. Proof. Fragments of a story I should have seen sooner. I remembered Emma's perfume lingering after late nights at work. The way she always placed her phone face down. The sudden requests for space. The conversations I defended. The warnings I ignored. Love had blinded me. And I had worn that blindness proudly. Over the next few days, I never called her. I never demanded answers. What would have been the point? She had already built a future from the ruins of our past. Then one evening, while washing dishes, my phone buzzed. A message from Emma. "Hey. Just wanted to see how you're doing." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed. "I know about you and Daniel." The typing indicator appeared. Disappeared. Returned. Finally, her reply arrived. "I'm sorry. It wasn't supposed to happen like that." I read the words again and again. I could almost hear her voice. Soft. Regretful. Familiar. But some things can't be undone by an apology. After a moment, I typed one final message. "Take care of yourself." Then I deleted her number. That night, I sat on the porch and watched the rain fall. The same rain that had poured down the night Claire came to my door. The drop struck the pavement in a steady rhythm, something between breaking and healing. For the first time in months, I felt peace. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But the beginning of it. People say love fades. I don't think that's true. I think love changes. It grows quieter. Less demanding. Less painful. And eventually, it becomes a memory you can hold without wishing to relive. Before I went back inside, I looked into the darkness and whispered the words I'd been unable to say since the day she left. "Goodbye, Emma." And this time, I meant it.